Hello everyone, this is DD1 here, and today we're going to be doing a special video. This is kind of different from what I normally do, but this was a special opportunity. So, at work, my boss had a lot of stuff in storage, and one of them was a Honky the Clown, and I opened up the box, and it actually appeared like it had never been used before, like it was brand new, never been assembled. And so I decided I was going to bring it home and unbox it for you guys. And we'll see if it works all the way. If it doesn't, then I will be doing those repairs, and then I'll film another video, and then I'll be returning it back to where it came from. But it's just a neat little piece of history that you don't really see anymore. Also, when I looked in there, the head looked really good for a Honky the Clown. Some of them are deformed and stuff. This one looks perfect. So there's a few interesting things going on here with the box. It's a very small box, first of all. Like, here's a butler tray in comparison. So it's a little bit of a heavy box, but they really compacted him in here, which makes me kind of concerned if I'll be able to get him back in. But this is number 606 of, I believe that's 1440 that were made. You can see that old label there. On the side there's a shipping label, and it was originally sent to Abracadabra Land in Bluffton, South Carolina, which is interesting. So I'm not exactly sure how it ended up in Georgia, but it did. The box has seen better days. It's been in a warehouse for possibly over 10 years. So we'll just go ahead and open the flaps up here. I feel like most Honky the Clowns have been opened by this point. But yeah, as you can see, everything looks brand new, never used, which is just incredible. And sorry if the lighting is bad at all. But here's the head. Try to do this with one hand. As you can see, a little squished on that side, but overall looking pretty great. It's a very interesting build. You can see that it's like he has a puppet mouth, but it's all latex. And there's zero dry rotting. When I saw the box, I figured that the head was just wrecked, but it actually is in pretty solid condition. So there's the head. Then we look in here. This is gonna suck putting it back in. We have this here, which is an arm. There's a little spring there. This was in the early days of seasonal visions, so you know, if you thought the setups were a little complicated sometimes now, back then it was a whole other beast. Same with the quality, it was a whole other beast. So there's the hand. You can see that the horn and the hand are all one piece. I believe that yeah, this part is separate and glued in, and then this is this might actually be vinyl, which is cool. It's not blow mold like you see with SVI nowadays, and that's very, you know, hand painted looking. Oh, this looks. I'm just looking at this like, wow, that's going to be great putting that back in the box. Then we have this hand here with a little plug and a motion sensor. Very neat. Here we have the mechanism, and this is very strange, I must say. It's like, it clearly looks like some kind of tabletop device, and you can see that it's just on and off. There's like two random connectors there. There's like a spot for batteries, but then there's also a 9-volt adapter slot. Everyone was copying Jimmy back in the day, pretty much, except for like Techie, where a lot of these things just got a 9-volt 1.5 amp adapter. and you can see trimate. And all of that is on this mechanism, and God knows if this thing actually will function. And I guess the board and stuff is in this too. And that's the speaker, so you can already tell the sound quality is going to be amazing. This is his costume. Yeah, that is taped. That is still brand new, and it is 2024. Easy to follow instructions. 8 screws, lovely. And that literally looks like an old Jimmy adapter. It's pretty crazy. And the adapter is still in the box, which is good. I'm so glad I'm filming the steps here, because this is going to be nightmarish. It's really great how the box is super small until you have to put it all back in, especially with all the inserts and stuff. So let's see what else we got here. Here's his adapter, a 9-volt 1.5 amp adapter. Very different looking, but yeah, there's that. I'll have to see if he actually uses the battery compartment or not. I know with Uncle Charlie it's kind of weird. Here we have an arm that is just randomly zip tied to the shoulder bracket. Something tells me that's not meant to stay like that. This is just a broken zip tie. There's a couple of those actually. I think they just gave out over time. And then we have this, which the mechanism sits in somehow. I hope this is like remotely interesting to you guys. We have this hip piece, which is very different looking. And then we have the poles, which are packed very interestingly. We've got 3 poles there. Hopefully not missing any. And then we have the base, which is still covered in bubble wrap. And then we just have a couple inserts and things. And then taped right here is a bag that has screws and a little metal thing. So yeah, now I'm going to pause the video and we are going to get situated here. Alright, I just removed this bag and unfortunately tore a little bit, but the screws are in their own little micro-sized bag, which is interesting. And this seems kind of bent, but hopefully it's fine. And there's the adapter bag, and now I'm just going to go ahead and open this, which has the clothes and instructions in it. Just trying to film this as I do it. When they put the tape on the bag, it's really easy for it to just rip. You know what, that wasn't terrible. Could have been a lot worse. Here's the instructions. Let's go ahead and do your parts list is as follows. Base, shoes, 3 support poles, costume, waist frame, torso frame, shoulder support, mechanism, head, arm times 2, left hand, right hand with horn, hat, mechanism brace, so that weird piece of metal is 8 screws, and the adapter. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Let's see, do we have the hat in here? This is very soft material. It feels like there's not really any backing to it, if that makes sense. Like it's very kind of floppy. Right, there's that. And the Uncle Charlie-esque shoes. And then his little tiny birthday hat. So now we're going to begin the setup. Okay, so there are no actual little tabs on there, so it literally just goes on. Wow, this is going to be an experience and a half. I'll just put this one on. Whoa, it's on, look at that. How short is this guy? Let me just make sure I'm not missing a step here. Nope, I'm not. And I see where they make up for his height a little bit. And it seems pretty straightforward with the setup. The weird spot will be with the mechanism. If you own or have owned a Honky the Clown, you can comment down below on how the setup process was. The part that's really going to be confusing is this. Which just kind of like goes there. Oh my goodness. You put screws in the holes. That is wild. Look at that. Well, I'm not going to be moving them around, so I'm not going to do that part. But we can do the rest. Literally, this is interesting. Well, as strange as that is, it did work. I mean, the mech is indeed secure. Now, how the head connects, I'm not sure. Alright everyone, here we have Honky the Clown fully assembled, and man, oh man, that was pretty awful. There's just a lot of things to be said about this guy. I think he's an iconic early character for seasonal visions. I think a lot of us that grew up with these kind of decorations remember seeing the videos for this guy online. Maybe if you had like a Halloween Express or something like that, you saw this guy in store or like at a private Halloween shop. But there is just so much about this that is really not great. For size comparison, I have him next to the Jimmy Medusa, which is still here at my house, and man, like, I won't lie, he is pretty neat. Like, he has a neat presence, he looks neat, it's a cool concept, it's a cool character. It's just the execution is kind of atrocious. Like, I think the hips work great for how they were intended, with the wire in there, but just the costume itself is like, there's no backing to it. It's actually similar to Medusa's in a way, where it's just kind of all over the place, and so it's kind of tricky to put it all together. And additionally, when I was moving the fabric through when I was moving the poles through the fabric, you had issues going on. Like, I could hear just the fabric ever so slightly snagging on the metal connector on the arm as I would move it. So I had to like go in there and make sure it didn't touch the metal. The shaping is actually not terrible for the torso, but the arms, it's really bad, because there is the metal arm and the fabric, and there is nothing else inside of here, and so it just really takes away from the realism. And well, let me fix this real quick. You can see the motion sensors right there, which is pretty clever. I'll give them that. And you know, the hand is cool. The head is neat, but you can see on the side there where it's kind of caved in. It didn't look that bad in the box, but it's unfortunately kind of rough. The latex puppet mouth is kind of on there, lopsided. This half of the head is actually pretty decent. This head's side is caved in. The face itself, though, doesn't look that terrible, because it could really have looked a lot worse given how this looks. The hat is just attached with an elastic that is kind of tight. He has this little bit of hair up top. And yeah, I could not believe the screws, because I've had 2010 Uncle Charlie and I'm pretty sure he was not like this. I think he actually had the pins in there. It's been like 10 years now since I had him. I do not remember this part of the setup at all. I'm so glad that they did not stick with that for too long, because that is wild. But yeah, here he is. I've not tested him yet, but we're about to do that in a second here. Just some final thoughts on him before I test him. I mean, like I said, it's neat, but man, it's just unsatisfying is the right word to use to describe the setup process for this guy. And unusual. But yeah, so now we're going to plug him in with the 9-volt adapter and see how that works. I think actually with the instructions here, went with the battery option. It says insert 4 AA batteries. But if I'm not mistaken, that's 6 volts. So I don't know how that's going to work. Yeah, it's interesting. Because 4 batteries is normally 6 volts, but the adapter is 9 volts. So I do not know how that makes sense. Maybe he just really behaves differently on batteries. Oh my gosh, I can't do anything with this. Okay, he's gonna look. Okay, it's there it is. So it's snagging the hips. So now we'll plug it in and see if anything happens here. First time in its life. Pretty long setup, pretty long activation. It's just one phrase that it does, if you will. As you can see, there's like a bad belt or a split gear or something in the head movement, so I'll have to fix that. I don't really think I'm going to fix it for this video, but yeah, there he is. And seeing him move reminded me of something. When you attach the head to the mechanism, it has like tabs, like plastic tabs. And so in order to take it off, I'm pretty sure you literally have to unscrew the metal frame from the head off of the connector in the head and then go in that way to disassemble it. So that seems like it's going to be very fun for me. But yeah, I guess I'll activate him one more time here. His arms are on springs, so when he moves his head, they shake around. So yeah, that is Honky the Clown by Seasonal Visions International from 2010. I just wanted to document unboxing this guy because not too many of them out there probably that were still never removed from the packaging. You can see just how small his box is. It's pretty wild that all of this fits in there. But his setup was just not great. It's like it has the modern inconvenience of building items like this, but it's worse. So I can only imagine someone in 2010 who had like even a pole-based Jimmy item and then they went to this, it would just be like kind of crazy. But yeah, that's about it for this guy. If I decide to film him after I fix him, then you guys will see that. But otherwise, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.